The President's memorandum detailing reasons for declining to assent to the Finance Bill 2018 was largely a guarded document until National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi unveiled it to members of the August House in his communication during a special sitting. Kenyatta, as he had announced on Friday, recommending an 8% VAT on petroleum products that, if adopted by the House, will lower the cost of petrol by about 7 shillings in Nairobi, the government seeking to rake in 17.5 billion shillings per year in the new fuel tax. But paying at the pump awaits users of kerosene, Kenyatta proposing an 18 shillings levy for every litre of paraffin, ostensibly to crack the whip on unscrupulous business people who use paraffin to adulterate diesel. The president also extending his taxation measures to telephone and internet service providers by proposing a 15% excise duty. These, if adopted by the August House, will lead to higher charges for mobile telephone services. For gamblers and those who participate in lotteries, the taxman is eyeing their luck. Kenyatta, in his memorandum, proposing a 20% tax for winners of gambling and lotteries, while firms in this business will have to part with 15%. For those in employment, their monthly pay is also on the president's radar. He is proposing that each employee makes a mandatory contribution of 1.5% of their basic monthly pay to the National Housing Development Fund, while their employers will make a similar contribution that must be remitted before the 9th day of each month. The president, through a supplementary budget, is also proposing to reduce the 3.02 trillion shillings 2018-2019 budget by 55 billion shillings. The 47 county governments will bear the brunt of these cuts, with its shareable revenue being slashed by 9 billion shillings if the House agrees with the head of state. The budget cuts also directed at recurrent expenditure from 1.07 trillion shillings to 1.06 trillion shillings, the 100 million shillings reduction targeted at the government's hospitality budget. The 677 billion shillings allocated to development expenditure will be revised downwards by 35 billion shillings if the August House will agree with the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary in the supplementary budget. But it will be a test of character for the lawmakers and their resolve to defy the president and NASA leader Raila Odinga when they vote on Thursday. Rotich is proposing to reduce CDF by 5.9 billion shillings, affirmative action that is managed by women representatives by 2 billion shillings, an equalization fund by 3.8 billion shillings. The amount of money earlier meant for rehabilitation of roads is also a target for budget cuts, and so is the digital literacy program, as well as the distribution of cooking gas. The energy sector will also have its budget traded if the president's proposals sail through in the House. Last-mile connectivity, street lighting, electrification of public facilities, and installation of transformers in constituencies are some of the sectors whose budgets are targeted for slashing. Members of Parliament will vote on the president's memorandum on Thursday, and it will require at least 233 MPs to overturn any proposal in the president's memorandum. Members of the August House have yet another opportunity to determine the direction the country's budget-making process will take. While on one hand, some members of parliament say agreeing with the president's memorandum is tantamount to political suicide, others see the sense in the proposals made by the head of state. Ultimately, the vote that they will take on Thursday will determine this matter. Francis Gashuri, Citizen TV, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.